Grace and peace, social camp family, and all my other social network families. This is Pastor B. R. Ali, aka Pastor in the Hood. I come to you on this day, first declaring that it truly is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. But then I want to talk about why we hate ourselves. I think it is a common, not phenomenon, but it seems to be a common occurrence going on in our communities, in our hoods, in our urban areas, among people of color, where we hate ourselves. The Bible tells me that where there is no vision, the people perish. And then it also declares, because of the lack of knowledge, our people are destroyed. And I believe because we lack a knowledge of ourselves, a knowledge of God, a knowledge of being, and then a lack of hope, a lack of understanding, a lack of futuristic aspirations, we end up hating ourselves. The commandment said that thou should not kill. It seems to be on a daily occurrence that we are killing one another. I don't care whether it's the Brick City, whether it's the Queen City, whether it's Chi-Town, whether it's the ATL, whether it's B-More, whether it's LA, whether it's Oakland, wherever it is across this country, there seems to be a daily occurrence of black on black, color on color, person on person, murder, shooting, cutting, fighting, because we must hate ourselves. When you don't understand the 500 years of bondage that we were in, when you don't understand that we came over here in the Middle Passage in slave ships, when you don't understand that we built up America for free labor, when you don't understand what our forefathers marched for, what our forefathers endured, what our forefathers had to go through, just that we might have life and have it more abundantly, and then we allowed the devil to come and steal, kill, and destroy, when Christ has already given us a promise that he come that we might have life and have it more abundantly. And we seem to hate ourselves so much. Where did this self-hatred come from? Number one, it's possible that it came from one of my generations, because I wasn't raised the way I lived. I was not raised the way I carried myself. I was not raised to do the things that I did, to partake in the events that I did, or to leave the women like I did. I was not raised in that. I understood, not fully, but I was raised in seeing what a covenant was. I was raised in seeing what to death do us part was in certain circumstances. I had examples. I was raised in the admonition and fear of the Lord. I was raised in all different types of things. I studied different faiths and all these different things. But within that context, it's my generation that has created this generation. It's our grandkids that are running wild now. It's our grandkids that hate themselves. It's our grandkids that hate us. It's our grandkids that are running around perpetrating, not a fraud, but perpetrating what they perceive to be their own reality, where they're hopeless, where they're despondent, where they're high, and where they have no disregard for life. On yesterday, a couple of blocks from my home, a young male was killed broad daylight. I just found out that one of my members was shot, being robbed at around 2 o'clock this morning, and been through surgery, and he's in the hospital now. So it doesn't matter whether you're old or young, because the young man that was killed was in his 20s, but my member that was shot is in his early 60s. And you have too many people that walk around, when you hate yourself, then you don't have no regard for anybody else. What do we do? What is the answer? What is the solution? Because hate comes in many different forms. It's not only those that are out here shooting a gun. It's not only those that are out here slinging a knife. It's not only those that are out here slinging the drugs. But just look at our common reality in our neighborhoods. Look at our poverty. Look at our miseducation. Look at our misrepresentation. Look at all those that say they are coming on our behalf, and then they rip us off, and we don't benefit from anything. We're not eating none of the pie. We're not even getting the crumbs that fall from the tables. And then people expect our young people to be calm and to be cool and to be collective, when they don't know who their father is. Their mama is dead because she was hurt. Their grandmother has raised them, but they claim that she's out of touch. And here it is, we have this whole different dynamic that we're sitting around debating, we're sitting around arguing about non-essentials when we got some essentials that need to be addressed. We got some essentials that need to be dealt with. We got some essentials in our neighborhoods and in our communities that need our actual attention. And here it is, we are sitting back because we think we are fat cats, we think we are middle class, and we think we have arrived, and we think we're just saved and on our way to heaven, and we don't have the responsibility to go back into our hoods, to go back into our communities, and win the loss at any cost. That's why we must hate ourselves. If you don't go and speak to a young brother, if you don't take time to speak to a young sister, is it because you hate yourself? If you sit behind a pulpit or sit in a church or sit between the four walls of your religious institution or your ecclesiastical forums and you sit around and try to discuss what's going on in the hood, but you never take time to come to the hood and actually witness what we deal with in the hood, then you are just a fraud, you're just fake, you're just phony, and you just need to go sit down somewhere, because in actuality, you hate yourself. Because anytime you won't reach out and give a helping hand and understand that we are our brother's keeper, that brother that look like me, that sister that look like me, maybe need a touch from me, may need a word from me, and they are my responsibility in Christ to at least ask them what's going on, at least to try to befriend them, at least try to speak to them. I dismiss the misnomer that you can't talk to none of our young people because all of them are out to lunch. You don't even know. You hate yourself so much you won't even take time to talk to them. But I invite you to come in and start loving one another. The Bible tells me, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. So my brother, my sister, I ask you to evaluate your own condition today. Evaluate your own position. Do you hate yourself, or are you your brother's keeper? Only you have the answer to that. I pray that you will find yourself and then find somebody else in the process. This is Pastor Ali signing off, saying I love you, but God loves you best. Peace, family.